How to code using NVivo for Mac. There are different kinds of coding. You can do NVivo codes when the name of the code is also the exact same words that have been coded. In another type of coding called NVivo coding, we code to nodes. So we have a shorthand. For example, if someone is talking in detail about different kinds of development, we may just name that text as development. So we may put the text written about development into a node that we choose to call development. A third type of approach to coding is called autocoding. However, NVivo MAC is more limited than Windows in autocoding. For example, the NVivo MAC only autocode the Word or PDF document by speakers and not by themes or sentiments, which NVivo Windows can do for you. Therefore, at this point, you may wish to see NVivo Windows video for autocoding and convert your project from Mac to Windows and vice versa. The instructions are on the link here. NVivo Mac autocode datasets like Excel files by nodes and by cases. However, we would not deal with autocoding on this page. We have dedicated a whole page to autocoding, and that is our next page in the Getting Started with NVivo course. Let us start with an example of NVivo coding. We will go to Data tab, open a file and highlight the text that we wish to code. When I right-click, a drop-down menu appears. I will choose NVivo. Note, we can code selection, which gives us access to code as a new node or code to recent nodes or uncode selection. Uncode is also useful if you want to change how you code or if you make a mistake. But in our case, now we are going to code NVivo. Simply click on Code NVivo. If we now click on nodes underneath codes in the left-hand side column, we will see in the middle window we have made a new code, and it's called "There are some of us out there dash dash dash." Actually, the full name of that code is exactly the same text that is highlighted on the right-hand side column. Why might we want to make NVivo codes? These codes can be very useful, especially in the early stages of analysis. While you are beginning to formulate and develop your coding framework. Later, we might recode NVivo codes into nodes by calling this code industry as a shorthand name. Another way to use NVivo codes is to store them as quotations and keep them under one node, for example, key extracts. It is a way of just maintaining easy access to quotations that you think might be used in future academic writing. We will now code that very same text just for an example purposes to a new node. So highlight the same text and right-click, but this time select Code Selection and then click on New Node and give it a name. I called this node Fishing Industry. The Fishing Industry node appears in your list of nodes underneath Cases in the left-hand side column. As you read through the interview transcript, you can then select other texts that also are talking about the fishing industry and add to the same node using right click. Alternatively, if you want to code again to an existing node, an easy way to do that is to highlight the text and drag and drop it onto the node. For example, fishing industry. Note, make sure that the node, for example, fishing industry, is open in the left-hand side column. So later, when we want to know what text is contained within the node fishing industry, we just click on fishing industry node. Having coded our transcripts or files, we may like to view our nodes. To view the codes, first click on the nodes, number 1 on the screen, then find the code or the node that you are interested in and click on references. In this case, we now have 11 references that have been coded towards fishing industry. We can view these in the right-hand side window. If you want to see the text in context, you simply click on the blue file link the text belongs to. So there's a link to, in this case, the file externals and Cooper presentation that we are working on above, because all 11 references belong to this file. So if you were to click on that link, it would take you back to the file and you would find that the file has been highlighted where text has been coded. That's a good way of understanding the codes in context. And I'd always encourage you to go back to the data and see how the text fits. It's easy to become removed from the transcript or file, so certainly now and again go back and view the coding within its context. Make sure that you are fully aware and immersed in the data itself. This is the end of the video on NVivo and node coding. For auto coding, see our page on auto coding.